That was Wardell Stephen Curry at his finest. 37 years of age, and the dude is still at the peak of his powers. Folks, if you watched that game, I guarantee you were not disappointed. That was a heavyweight title bout. That was not just a battle, that was a war between two teams that knew full well what the stakes were for this game tonight. And Stephen Curry, 50 points for the 15th time in his career. Oh, something tells me he would have taken over the Klay Thompson record for most threes made in a game as well if this particular night was not so damn important. There's a lot to break down. That was huge. If you were jumping out of your seat when Stephen Curry lost it and nearly got into it with Mr. T-Rex arms himself, Desmond Bane, I feel you. I wanted to literally get on a plane and get behind Stephen Curry and fight on his behalf as well. It was that type of night. The energy was pumped. The results were beautiful. And let's break it down. The Warriors are now the 5 seed with 7 games to go in the regular season. The march for championship number 5 continues. Let's break it all down next. Welcome to the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
We are going to win the championship.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Welcome to the Golden Days. That was a game where if you want to just scream into the sky, if you want your neighbors to wonder what the F is going on at that place over there, this is the night. Scream up the top of your lungs, because if you call yourself a member of Dub Nation, you've earned it. Don't pretend for a second that I don't feel what you just went through. That was a hell of a game. Hell of a performance by Stephen Curry. And the Golden State Warriors come out victorious on a night where even when they trailed in certain moments, you just knew that Stephen Curry was going to step up. At least I hope you felt that way. And I understand if there's a little trepidation there as well, little, a creeping of the nerves in the system. It was a tough game. It was close. But the Grizzlies, through 3 quarters, were shooting 48.4% from deep. Thankfully, that came back down and hit the mean. The Grizzlies came back down to earth. The Golden State Warriors continued kicking ass. And what we have as a result is a final 134-125. The Golden State Warriors, again, winning a huge game against the Grizzlies team that clearly did not want to lose tonight. They came to play, and so did the Warriors. And more specifically, so did Stephen Curry. His final box score on this incredible evening. And what a stat line. Again, 37 years of age. For him to be doing this, I guarantee there are going to be a lot of records, a lot of fascinating statistics I'm not going to get to tonight because we do these programs literally right after the games, and sometimes those beautiful stats start creeping in hours after the final buzzer. But Stephen Curry, here's what I can tell you for certain. 52 points tonight. 52. Again, the 15th time in his career, 1-5, that he has scored 50 or more points in a game. A plus 17 in net rating. 10 rebounds in this game. So the man not only scored 50, 52 to be more precise, but he also got a double-double, grabbing 10 boards in this game. He came 2 assists shy of a triple-double. And just to add to the magnificence of this performance tonight, Stephen Curry, 52 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals on 12 of 20 shooting from deep, 16 of 31 shooting overall. But the 3-point shooting, 12 of 20. Yeah, he went over 50% on the night. He came 2 assists and 5 steals short of a quadruple-double. This was the kind of night Stephen Curry had. If you watch this game from the beginning, you know that he was on a heater. You know that he was on a mission because his first quarter numbers were absurd. The Warriors went over 40 points in the first quarter, continuing an offensive explosion we've been seeing lately. The Warriors scored 45 points total in that opening quarter. And correct. And in the first quarter of this game, you knew Steph was onto something here because after one, he had 19 points and he was 5 of 6 shooting from deep. He also had a 5 first quarter rebounds. So the aggressiveness was there. The tone setting was there. The pace was there. The lightning force of 3-point shooting was there. This was just a fantastic performance, a fantastic game. If you're feeling giddy, I don't blame you. You've earned it. This was a big one. And the Golden State Warriors, again, are now 5th in the Western Conference. They win the season head-to-head tiebreaker over the Memphis Grizzlies. So even if the teams finish tied when the season's over, you don't have to worry about tiebreakers. The Warriors are ahead in that category. And it sets up this again. This was the first of 4 massively difficult games. One down. And now you got the Lakers Thursday. You've got the Nuggles on Friday. You got the Rockets coming up. But for tonight, we're going to enjoy this one. This was big. Something, I don't know about you folks, but when the Warriors go into Memphis and shut that obnoxious crowd down, I get the cuckles. I feel good, baby. And I hope you do too. Again, the final score, 134-125. Before we continue with the coverage, and of course, I'm going to bring folks on the program tonight. We're going to share in the revelry and the celebration of a beautiful victory for the Golden State Warriors. Have to give some love to the sponsors, the folks funding this operation that I, at least, and I hope some of you are as well, are eternally grateful because without them, this doesn't exist. And I hope I'm entertaining and informing you on a consistent level. But the first sponsor up is Visit Humboldt. After a game like that, I could certainly use a nice getaway into the woods, into a quiet, pristine, beautiful nature setting of an area, which is what Humboldt is. There's a town in Humboldt in Humboldt County called Shelter Cove. And Shelter Cove is basically where you want to start if you want to hike the Lost Coast Trail. This is a trail that is primarily set on beaches, and I think it goes like 20 miles into pure wilderness. If you're an adventure seeker, that I strongly recommend you doing that. But I mentioned Shelter Cove because one of the many beautiful parts of Humboldt County is this little town called Shelter Cove, and they have hotels in this town where you can literally, and it's not going to break the bank either. You can spend a weekend, a few days, whatever the days are. Who cares? It could be weekdays for all I care. But you could go to this hotel. In the rooms, they have saunas, they have jacuzzis, they have decks, and the room itself is perched over the Pacific Ocean. So you're going to sleep every night with the sound of crashing waves. You're getting that fresh ocean air. It's incredible. And that's just one place to choose from. If you decide to go check out Humboldt for your vacation, go check it out and go enjoy, especially if you live in Northern California. It's a 3 to 4 hour drive for each and every one of you here. And it's not a boring drive either. Unlike that drive to LA, especially in the I-5 where you just want to sleep through that whole thing. The complete opposite, driving up to Arcata, Eureka, Humboldt County. Go enjoy. It is paradise, whether we're talking national, state parks, outdoor adventures, amazing breweries, wineries, you name it. The Steelhead Brewery, by the way, is delicious, both for beer and food. Go check it out. Have some fun. Let me know how it goes. DM me if you want some tips as well, because I used to call the place home when I went to school there. And you could go to either visithumboldt.com or DM me either on Instagram at DogWild or on Twitter at SurfJournalist. Go check it out. Thank me later. It's a hell of a time. Today's episode also brought to you by Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform. And the Final Four is here. And Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds. You've got news and scores. You've even got live in-game betting while the games are played. Head over to the Bet Online casino if you happen to not want to play sports for a night. They've got all the top Vegas-style games, poker, a live casino, whatever you want. BetOnline's got it for your gambling fix. BetOnline, the game starts here. And for the Warriors, the game started, it ended in Memphis in style. Again, the final score, 134-125. I've given Stephen Curry his due, and rightfully so, because he had an unbelievable night, but he wasn't the only one. Jonathan Kuminga was a late scratch. He was listed as questionable on the injury report. And for those of you that feel like I'm biased too much in Kuminga's favor, I'll start the show with this, besides the flowers given to Stephen Curry. Jonathan Kuminga needs to be durable. Look, besides the confusion in terms of what the injury was, initially when he first took that hard fall, you had Warriors PR issuing a statement saying that the injury was a replication of the ankle that kept him out for 31 games. And then we find out it was what we all saw, which was a bruised pelvis / coccyx / tailbone. This is not an injury that will have long-term ramifications. This is an injury where you got to tough it out. And there were a lot of moments in tonight's game between the Warriors and Grizzlies where at least my thought process was the Warriors can use Jonathan Kuminga. The Grizzlies are a big team. They were posing a lot of issues when it comes to rebounds, when it comes to second chance points, and the size and athleticism, excuse me, that Jonathan Kuminga brings to the table would have been welcomed, would have been useful against a team with gargantuan individuals like Zach Edey. Jaren Jackson Jr. was having a game tonight before he fouled out late, and the game was pretty much over by that point. But my point is, JK was a late scratch, and durability, I hope, does not become a problem for this guy. You need to actually play games. You need to figure it out in terms of staying on the court. Unacceptable. Show durability. Show that you can be there for your team when they need you the most. And I hope we see him Thursday when they take on the Lakers, because they could have used him tonight. So durability is officially a concern for me when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga. Now, the good news is nearly everyone else who played tonight stepped the F up. And who are the other players that deserve accolades? I'm going to give the second nod in terms of who deserves their flowers after Stephen Curry, obviously. And one more time, I'll read Steph's stat line. He is easily our Visit Humboldt player of the game tonight. Again, the 15th time in his career that he has hit the 50-point plateau. Second all-time in Warriors history. Only two individuals are in even the discussion of 50-point games as a member of the Golden State Warriors. My good friend Rick Barry, who I'm sure is going to join the program again soon, he has 14 of those in his career. And then Will Chamberlain is atop the list with 105 50-point games. So I don't know if Steph's going to hit Wilt's level, but Steph, safe to say, will be second for a very long time on the all-time list of Warriors players scoring 50 or more points. And Stephen Curry, again, the final stat line for him tonight, incredible performance from Steph, 52 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals. He came 2 assists and 5 steals shy of a quadruple-double. Only 4 times has that ever occurred in the history of the NBA. That is the accomplishment of accomplishments. And Steph came that close to getting it. 12 of 20 shooting from beyond the arc. He was also a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw line. If you had a gripe with the officiating tonight, and at least through the first 3 quarters of this game, I certainly did. There was a lot of egregious calls not going in the Warriors' favor. But we saw a little more balance in quarter 4, thankfully, and Stephen Curry, a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw line, added a block in this game. 2 turnovers by his standards is fantastic. And unbelievable night for him. A plus 17 in net rating, 52 points, 10 boards, 8 assists, 12 of 20 shooting from beyond the arc. If you're shooting over 50% from 3, that's absurd. That is wild. That is just stuff of legends. I don't know what else to say about that. I'm running out of words to use for the greatness that is Stephen Curry. But the runner-up, in terms of, if we had a runner-up here for player of the night, you might give it to Jimmy Butler. And I wouldn't blame you if you did, because Jimmy Butler had some huge clutch plays in this game tonight. Jimmy Butler's stat line, 27 points in this game. And a lot of those points came from the charity stripe, a place that Jimmy knows all too well how to get to, something the Warriors desperately need, especially on a night where Jonathan Kuminga is not playing. 12 of 12 shooting for Jimmy Butler from the free throw line. 27 points. He was 7 of 11 shooting from the field. Fantastic. Even hit a 3 tonight. He was 1 of 2 shooting from beyond the arc. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. So that was Jimmy Butler's stat line. But at least to me, I don't think he's the runner-up. I would place him third if we're going to be voting for who is the player of the night for the Warriors tonight. The guy I'm going to give the nod to for runner-up is not Jimmy Butler. It's a guy who shot 1 of 7 from 3 tonight. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, how can you be giving roses to someone that shot 1 of 7 from beyond the three-point line tonight? Well, it's because in literally every other facet of the game, he was stupendous. He was fantastic. Unbelievable night from Mr. Draymond Green. Flex your muscles, sir. You had a very difficult task of Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. The dude handled it with style. He knew Stephen Curry was on one tonight, and he knew his mission was to make sure that effort was not wasted. He set up unbelievable screens for Steph tonight. His defense was absolutely fantastic, and Draymond Green got a triple-double tonight. He's a runner-up. He's not our player of the game, but he's a runner-up. And Draymond, I hope, wins Defensive Player of the Year. He deserves it. And Draymond Green tonight, his stat line, 13 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, added a block and 2 steals, second on the team in net rating with a plus 13. Wardell was the leader in that category tonight with a plus 17. But Draymond Green, the Grizzlies had a strategy. They were going to let Draymond shoot those threes. And tonight, that strategy almost worked. But despite going 1 of 7 from the three-point line, he was fantastic in nearly every other category. Again, a triple-double for Draymond Green, 13 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. He was also a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 of 12 from the field. But if you take away the 7 3-point attempts, Dre was 3 of 5 from the field, from inside the three-point line. And Draymond Green was stupendous. He was absolutely fantastic. So flowers to Draymond Green as the runner-up for tonight's player of the game, which the honors clearly should naturally go to Stephen Curry, who just had a ridiculous game. At the age of 37, he's still doing this, and it's beautiful to watch. I really don't know what I'll say about that. Now, this stat, I'm going to show each of you, adds to the legacy, to the wow factor that is Stephen Curry. And this stat represents the number of 50-point games after the age of 30. And the fact that Steph in these lists, when we talk about the accomplishments of great players after turning 30, he's routinely surpassing Jordan in these categories. Case in point, this stat right here. Most 50-point games after turning the age of 30 in NBA history. Stephen Curry is atop the list. Number 1, tonight was his 10th 50-point game since turning 30 years of age. The next highest number is Wilt Chamberlain with 7. Dame Lillard, impressive, with 6, Oakland's own. Michael Jordan has also hit that mark 6 times, and James Harden has also hit that mark 6 times. But Stephen Curry now has 10. Stephen Curry, I believe, I want to confirm this, had 8 threes at the end of the first half. So there was definitely a watch going on in terms of Steph possibly breaking Klay Thompson's record for most threes made in a game. That record is 14. At the end of the first half tonight, Steph was at 8 3-pointers made. So there definitely was a watch going on. But in the fourth quarter, Steph started out a little slow with his 3-point shot. I think he missed his first 3 or 4. Here, let me look that up real fast here in terms of what Steph did in the fourth quarter of this game, because if my memory serves correct, yeah, Steph finished 1 of 5 shooting from deep in the fourth quarter, and I believe he missed the first 4. That would have been the record. But again, if he's going to do it, and this is just me. I feel like that record is going to be broken on a night when the Warriors are not playing a game that has massive playoff implications, because there was a stretch in this game in the fourth quarter where both the Warriors and the Grizzlies, who were shooting lights out from beyond the arc. Again, Memphis entered the fourth quarter shooting 48.4% from deep. But then in that final quarter of the game, both teams were, and this is where exhaustion kicks in. Memphis did play the second of a back-to-back. They hosted the Boston Celtics just a night earlier. And so in the fourth quarter of this game, both teams, again, reverting to natural form, bringing these numbers down to where they're supposed to be. The Warriors were just 3 of 14 shooting from deep in the fourth quarter. That's good for 21.4%. And Memphis was bricking threes left and right in that fourth quarter as well. They were just 3 of 13 from deep in the fourth quarter, good for only 23.1% shooting from beyond the arc. So, and again, Jaren Jackson Jr., who fouled out, he was 0 of 4 from deep in quarter four. Jalen Wells missed a 3. Desmond Bane with his T-Rex arms. How dare you approach stuff like that? I'm sure a lot of you felt the same way I did. I wanted to throw fists, man, right at Desmond Bane's face for doing something as petty as trying to take a ball away from Steph. It's like, get the hell out of here. Desmond Bane was 1 of 3 shooting from deep in the fourth quarter. Desmond Bane, I believe, is the Grizzlies' best 3-point shooter outside of maybe Luke Kennard. And Kennard was 0 of 1. Scottie Pippen Jr. was 0 of 1. So the threes stopped falling in quarter four for both teams. And so Steph does not get the record, but he still hits 52 points total, 12 of 20 shooting from beyond the arc. The 12 threes he made tonight, once upon a time, not that long ago, would have been the record, but the record is now 14. And again, a huge win for the Golden State Warriors in a game that really mattered, folks. I want to see some paid chats here real fast. J.J. Lee dropping $4.99, and I'm really glad you brought that up. I think this is a not so bold and very accurate statement to make, which is that the Golden Days audience, the smartest, easily. I don't think it's even close. When you talk about whatever other programs are out there that also cover the Warriors, bravo. I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you provide to the chat, because you give me content to follow up on, to add on, or just to cover, period. And JJ Lee is a perfect example of this, mentioning Jimmy Butler's ankle injury. Yes, he rolled his ankle. What was it, the third quarter, maybe early fourth, and it looked bad. He looked like he was in legitimate pain. Got right back up. You know he's icing that thing right now. And that's going to be the mission between now and Thursday. Keep the swelling of that ankle to as much of a minimum as possible, because if that thing swells up too much, that's when it begins to linger. He came right back out there and adding a bit of Toradol should get him going. He better not be ducking LeBron on Thursday. He better not be. I agree. That game is look, it's not like beating the Grizzlies clinches you a 5 seed. You got to keep playing and winning. So now with that said, again, Jonathan Kuminga, take a page out of that playbook, please. You got to tough it up, man. You got to be on the court. Jonathan Kuminga's at a point in his career where he's trying to prove and establish himself, and missing games like this because of a bruised tailbone. Come on, man. You got to tough it up. You got to play. And Jimmy Butler, again, a perfect example of that. So JJ Lee, bravo for bringing up a moment in this game that was a little concerning, because the initial reaction, the initial feel watching Jimmy Butler writhing in pain on the floor there was, oh boy, is he going to come back? He thankfully did, and he contributed in a big way. Wainster dropping $5 saying, Dubs rock. Stephen Curry, unbelievable. The big three were rocking and rolling. Moses Moody, side note, that last three to seal this game was massive. Moses Moody hitting a corner three with confidence, no hesitation, hitting nothing but net. And then Brandon Pajemski, I'm glad you brought him up, because Brandon Pajemski was not having a good game until the very end. His final stat line should reflect what he did for most of this night, which was not a lot. Pajemski was struggling. And I was even on social media using him as an example, and I think I posted this in the third quarter, of where I disagree with Steve Kerr when it comes to the rotations and personnel, because I thought Quentin Post should have been playing way more. Post finished tonight's game with 19 minutes and 50 seconds logged in. And when you look at, and if you're listening to the podcast, whether you look or hear this stat line, you may understand why myself, and I'm guessing a lot of you were frustrated with Podziemski's play for most of this game. Brandon Podziemski finished tonight with just 8 points. He was 0 of 4 shooting from deep, 5 rebounds, which by his standards on a night like this, I'd say maybe a little low because that's one of the things he's supposed to bring to the table. A stat that I've been looking at very closely with Brandon Podziemski because this is a stat that needs to improve for someone who calls himself a point guard. Brandon Podziemski, just 1 assist tonight. That has to go up as a number. No steals, no blocks. 4 of 11 shooting from the field overall. There was 4 of 7 shooting from inside the three-point line. So 8 points, 5 boards, and an assist with no three-pointers made for Brandon Podziemski. I was ready to criticize him until the very end of the game, the play that Wayne Starr is pointing out. And I think it was a Stephen Curry miss that led to Brandon Podziemski being a hero tonight because that putback that he facilitated and tipped in was massive in this game. I actually want to pull up the play-by-play just to get the facts right because I'm curious to know who was the one that missed that shot. I think it was Stephen Curry. And Brandon Podziemski, again, that play, this was very late in the fourth quarter. Steph misses a shot, and I think it was like a layup. It was a short-range field goal attempt. And Memphis had a shot, I think, to come back and either tie the game or take a lead. I'm trying to find that exact play right now. Here it is. It was at the 1:11 mark. Stephen Curry missed a 3. I apologize. My memory was mistaken there. I thought it was a short-range field goal attempt. It was a 27-foot three-point jumper that missed. The Warriors were leading by just 3 at that point. It was 125-122. And for Brandon Podziemski to muscle his way in there and tip that ball in, it pretty much clinched this game. I think everyone breathed their first sigh of relief in 3 hours or 2.5 hours, however long the game was, at that specific moment. Because until that tip in, this was not sealed. This was still a very wide open game. And Memphis was, again, they brought the fight tonight, but Brandon Podziemski, Matt Owen, brother, he wiggled his way in there. He brought the force. It was not an easy tip in, dude. Like he muscled his way in there for that. He made it happen. And I'm going to give the man credit where credit's due because despite a poor night statistically, despite a night where defensively, there were moments where John Moran and other people he was guarding were scoring at will. We're getting to where they wanted to go on the court without much impediment. But that tip in, Wayne Starr, bravo. $5, I hope, well spent for the acknowledgement of Brandon Podziemski. And I'm reading all the chats. I apologize for not getting to you yet. We're going to bring folks in the audience on the show very soon. But Pods, that tip in was huge. Dice Boy, $1.99, writing, did you see fake Thug, Jaw, and Bane? Oh, hell yeah, dude. These guys, I think, represent fake tough and then some. John Morant's dad, you see him routinely standing up courtside, cheering on his boy. Yeah, the fake tough is, I think, safe to say applies to this Memphis Grizzlies squad. Very frustrating team. If you applied the word rival to the Memphis Grizzlies, I'd buy that. These two teams have had a lot of huge games between each other. There is no love lost between these teams. And in the end, it's the Warriors standing tall and proud. So, yeah, Dice Boy, I did notice the fake tough crowd that is the Memphis Grizzlies. Wayne Starr dropping another $5. Thank you for the contributions. Say that Draymond Green deserves an Oscar for his bye-bye to Jaren Jackson Jr., his fellow Michigan State alum. I think those two actually don't hate each other largely because of the Tom Izzo connection, but I did see that tonight. That was awesome. Again, this was a huge win. This was a massively big win for the Golden State Warriors. And I hope there's going to be sound coming down. I will play that immediately. Pete Gregory dropping $1.99 saying that Steve Kerr will sit Jonathan Kuminga for a week for a chipped toenail. I don't know what went into the decision to sit Kuminga tonight. Like, I don't know if Kuminga told Kerr, like, I'm hurting. I don't know if I could go. I don't know if Kerr made the decision. I don't know what went into that. And forgive me for the naivety in case that answer is out there. I did not see it or read it, but it is funny. I want Kuminga back out there soon. Yeah, and Lori Stubbs in the chat saying Stephen Curry just took control of this game. This was a vintage Stephen Curry night. This was a reminder of why the word greatness is synonymous with Wardell Stephen Curry. It was absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, you have the haters, the Kuminga haters like JG638 saying, no, thanks. We don't need Kuminga to slow the offense down. Dude, this game was way too close for comfort. Do not pretend that Kuminga's absence helped the Warriors tonight. They needed Stephen Curry to pour 52 points to barely come away with the win on a night where against a bigger Memphis Grizzlies team. So we can agree to disagree on that front. I do think the Warriors need him back sooner than later. I guess now might be a good time to bring some folks in before I get to the audience. A few other things I want to bring up that stuck out to me from this game tonight. A beautiful victory for the Warriors, 134-125, the final. Again, we'll dive into the standings in a little bit. The Warriors are the 5th place team in the NBA's Western Conference now. That's huge, folks. That is wild. And the Grizzlies are free falling meanwhile. But a couple of other tips of the cap from this game. Kevon Looney, for 2 straight games now, has made a 3-pointer. He made the 3 in that Spurs game, which was a complete blowout in garbage time. I think it was like the last bucket of the game for the Golden State Warriors. And it was cute. It's one of those things where you're just like, yay, Kevon Looney hit a 3. The guy never shoots 3s normally. It was fun. It was gimmicky. Tonight, whole different story. Kevon Looney shot it from the same place on the court. Clearly, the corner 3 is his comfort spot. That's where he'd set the couch if he had an option. And he drained his only 3-point attempt. I guess you could say Kevon Looney has now hit 2 threes in a row. And that was his only bucket in this game. He was playing a lot of tough minutes, battling inside in what was a very physical evening. But Kevon Looney, 9 minutes, 59 seconds of play. He missed 3. I don't know if the word easy is the proper adjective for Kevon Looney's missed putbacks and layups, because he had 3 missed shots in this game, and they all were very close to the rim. But that 3 that he hit was huge. And I got to give him his flowers. 3 points in this game coming off a quarter. 3 added 4 rebounds and an assist. So Kevon Looney, bravo. That 3-point shot is suddenly looking legit. Quentin Post deserves flowers. Quentin Post finished this game tonight playing 19 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, I all these box scores, all these stats, I'm trying to follow along during the game, but the first time I'm reading these are literally live during this show. So when I tell you that, I think Quentin Post had a better first half than second half. I don't know for certain. I'm going to read these off to you for the first time, as much as probably you are. Quentin Post in the first half of this game played 13 minutes, 4 seconds, was 3 of 7 shooting from beyond the arc. His 9 points, and he added 1 rebound, but the 9 points and those threes were huge. And he was battling with fellow rookie, what's his name again? Zach Edey, I apologize. He was battling with Edey a lot, and it was a back and forth. What I'm trying to say here is Quentin Post had a great game tonight, and I want to acknowledge that. Even though we saw him a lot less in the second half, I was a little surprised to see Guy Santos off the bench before him, and Guy will be acknowledged as well. I promise you that, because I thought he had a great game, contrary to what the box score may show you. But Quentin Post and the spacing he provides as the team's leading 3-point shooter right now deserves acknowledgement. I hope he gets more minutes moving forward. The Quentin Post experience has been beautiful this season. I don't know if the Warriors are even where they are without him. His bench minutes are huge. And even though tonight it wasn't like necessarily, a game where he lit it up, it wasn't a bad night either. Quentin Post finished this game. The 9 points that he scored in the first half is what he had for the entirety of this game. And it was enough. The 9 points also represents the difference in the margin of victory for the Golden State Warriors over Memphis tonight, 134-125. That 9-point difference, courtesy of Quentin Post, whose 7-foot frame desperately needed for this small ball Warriors team. And Guy Santos, he really brought the energy tonight. I guarantee if you're a Grizzlies fan, Guy Santos was being called a pest, because to them, that's how he was. For the Warriors, that's exactly what you want. You want an irritant on your side doing what he did. Guy Santos was fantastic in this game. 18 minutes, 33 seconds. And again, the box score does not reflect what he did because he only made one bucket. And he also made 2 free throws as well. 4 points for him, but he did have 6 rebounds, which was third on the team tonight. Behind Draymond Green and Stephen Curry, who both had grabbed 10 boards, Jimmy Butler and Guy Santos following them with 6 rebounds apiece. And he was awesome. This was a vintage Guy Santos performance. I know this might sound crazy to some of you, but I don't think they win this game without him tonight. That's how much his energy meant to the Warriors. And I love this kid. I absolutely love this kid. Think about the future 5 years from now. The Warriors now have their starting 5 essentially in place, right? The Warriors could have a starting 5 in 2030, okay? And maybe Steph will be retired by then. My guess is yes, but who knows? You might have a starting 5 of Podziemski, Moody, Kuminga, Guy Santos, and Quinn Post. And I'm happy with that. More than happy. Sign me up. And who knows who else is included in that mix. But the people have blasted Joe Lacob for the 2 timeline thing. I don't think it's as bad as, the narratives that have been put out there. And people are going to like it when those 5 become mature and they're playing heavy minutes and the Warriors are still relevant in the post-Stephen Curry era. So Guy Santos, bravo. Good performance tonight. I absolutely loved what he did. Good stuff. Oh, New Jersey. Was I supposed to say gooey? I apologize for that. This is where the golden days are step in. Guy Santos, vintage performance tonight. Thank you for that. Baby Cakes wants me to bring up the team steal category, and I'm looking at it. But again, I mentioned Stephen Curry and the fact that he was 5 steals and 2 assists away from a triple-double. The 5 steals from Steph were 5 of 11 total for the team. The Warriors had their hands in a lot of places tonight. Jimmy Butler, 3 steals. Draymond Green, 2 steals. Stephen Curry, 5 steals. Buddy Hield added a steal as well. And Buddy Hield, another player who you could probably have criticized a lot for in this game, but then he hits that huge 3 late. Buddy Hield finished this game tonight with 8 points, 3 rebounds, but the 3-point shooting, he was 1 of 6 shooting from 3 until near the end. And then let me see when that bucket was, because Buddy Hield, I'm looking for his 3. There it is at the 5:13 mark of the 4th quarter. The score of this game was 113-112. Yeah, that's a 1-point lead. That's the kind of night this was. This was not a comfortable win for the Warriors, which is why it feels so damn good right now. It feels amazing. This is awesome. So Buddy Hield, 5:13 remaining in this game. The score is 113-112. He drains a 24-foot 3-pointer thanks to Kevon Looney finding him. And before that moment, he was only 1 of 6 from 3. They needed that 3-pointer from Buddy. Thank you for that, bud. That was huge. And he got a steal as well in tonight's game. So, Aha Papa, who I'm guessing you're new here because the Guy Santos thing is an inside joke. So if you're a relatively new audience member for this program, we call him Gooey here because one of our audience members who came on the show one time accidentally called him Gooey, and it just was hilarious. And I roll with it. But I hear what you're saying in case you think it's kind of a goofy nickname. Inside joke. You had to be there, I guess. But yes, Shardol in the chat saying that Stephen Curry lit up FedEx Forum. I want to see if there's any sound that has come down the wire before we get to the audience. While I do that, why don't I just post the link now? I'm sure a lot of you want to be heard. I'm sure there's new perspectives that I did not get to and touch on tonight. The link is now in the chat if anyone wants to come on the show and say whatever is on your mind. And while you folks are lining up here, and I always go in chronological order, I want to see if there's any sound that I should be playing real fast. Moses Moody, after the game, according to Sam Gordon, side note, he was on last night's show and he was phenomenal. Thank you, Sam Gordon, who's in Memphis right now. And Sam is saying that Moses Moody was in the post-game press conference alluding to tonight's game having a playoff feel to it. Quote, when we're coming down the stretch, you've got to look around the standings, hoping other guys lose. But, I mean, you can control your destiny when you meet those teams, and that's what we did tonight, unquote. absolutely right. The Warriors are in control of their destiny to avoid being a play-in team. And here's Steve Kerr. Again, this is courtesy of Sam Gordon. Let's hear from Steph. Steph talking about his favorite player, clearly. That is Stephen Curry. And Kerr is talking primarily about that. So turn the volume up on your devices. And then right after this attribution, we'll get to the chat. Or I'm sorry, we'll get to the audience. But here is Steve Kerr talking about Stephen Curry's performance. One for the ages. Again, 52 points, 12 of 20 shooting from deep. Turn the volume up on your devices because this was likely recorded on a phone. Here is Steve Kerr after tonight's massively huge win at Memphis over the Grizzlies.
How would you describe Steph's performance tonight, given the stakes and everything?
I mean, the guy's 37 years old. It's incredible. 52 points with people draped all over him all game long. The conditioning, the skill, the audacity, the belief. It's just incredible to watch Steph at work. I mean, I can't believe he's still doing this at this age, but he's put the work in and he still got it.
How much do you think that week off you just had maybe boosted it a little bit?
I think it helped, and I think 2 rounds of golf on this road trip helped. Yeah, I'm only half joking. The week off was helpful for him. I think he looks recharged, rejuvenated, and he just. I think last time he was here, he didn't make a field goal. I guarantee that was on his mind. We lost by 50 or something. And, we know how they like to guard him. They've done a great job on him. They've done a great job on us. The first 3 games of the year, we averaged, I think, 19 turnovers against them. And tonight only 11. And I feel like there was a really concerted effort to execute and get organized and stay poised. And for the most part, I loved the way we played throughout. We had a couple of bad spells, but it was really a solid effort. It's an amazing game. I mean, both teams played at a really high level. They made 18 threes. Ja was unstoppable. So great game, and we were fortunate to come out on top, but we made big plays down the stretch to make it happen.
And that game had the feel of a postseason game, and rightfully so, because with the win, again, the Warriors are now 5th in the Western Conference. They win the season series over Memphis. They've already won the season series over the Minnesota Timberwolves. So things are beginning to settle in terms of the playoff picture, although there's still a lot of games to play. Who knows where this is all going to shake down. But speaking of Gooey Santos, I believe, Sachin, you coined the Gooey in Gooey Santos, and you had to be there to understand it. Great to see you. How you doing? Or hear it from you, since we can't see you.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Sachin. I actually feel this was awesome. I believe it. I would be in the shittiest mood imaginable if the Warriors lost this game. So yeah. I'm going to take this option and roll with the good vibes. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. This is a big win.
Huge.
Number 5 seed now, so it's a huge win. I mean, first off, Steph, 52 points. He was 100% the main reason we won this game. But I just want to talk about a little bit about the lack of fouls he gets throughout the game. It's just
the lack of what? I'm sorry.
Fouls he gets.
Okay.
Foul call he gets. It's just I don't understand it, to be honest. But overall, I thought the big 3. They were in playoff mode tonight. They looked amazing. I thought Jimmy looked really good. 27 points. He got to the line a lot. And I think Draymond, I saw someone mention it in the chat, but I'm surprised that he hasn't acted out at all throughout this entire time.
New Jersey in the chat brought that up just recently, highlighting the fact that Draymond, he's not getting in trouble like he used to. He doesn't cross the lines, the boundaries that he once did, where refs were teeing him up, and he's not fighting people. Dude, it's incredible. He's doing all the right things right now. So great call on that, and great call to New Jersey for writing that in the chat as well. Sorry, Sat, go ahead.
Yeah, a triple-double tonight. I think it was his first of the season. So, he's completely locked in, and Jimmy, Steph. And I thought the other 2 guys, Pods and Moody, it was pretty encouraging tonight seeing him play, especially Moody. I think defensively, ever since the trade has happened, he's looked really good as the POA defender. He doesn't really have like the lateral quickness for it, I would say, but he's really good at using his length, getting deflections, getting steals, making the opposing guy uncomfortable. So he's been really good. And I thought we missed GP2 tonight a lot. Just defensively, John Morant was going crazy. Desmond Bain.
I was actually, Sachin, I'm glad you said that. I was thinking the exact same thing. This was a game for GP2 because, and especially when you look at the history and the fact of the Grizzlies. I know Dylan Brooks is no longer with them, but he knocked him out of what, game 1 or 2 of that series. So there's the history, the bad blood, the fact that GP2 would have been on jaw for most of the game. He was missed. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think overall, like the teams looked really good ever since the trade because everyone's kind of like put into the role that they're supposed to be in. Whereas before the trade, like Buddy Hield had to be your secondary scorer, and everything was just everyone was out of place. So it's been really good to see this team ever since that trade. And I think, I mean, they're the 5th seed right now. I can see them being a 4 seed potentially. That's why I think the Lakers game is very important.
Huge. Like if the Warriors win that game Thursday, and we'll cover the standings at the end of the show, but if the Warriors win that game Thursday, the 4 seed is realistic all of a sudden. That's what that game Thursday, I think, comes down to. You win, the 4 seeds in play. You lose, and you better do your best to hold on to 5 or 6. That's kind of how this is lining up.
Yeah, and all I will say is for that game, like I was talking about the rest of this game. I mean, next game is just it's gonna be so bad. Like the calls that the refs are gonna give the Lakers. I saw the game last night, Lakers Rockets, and there was like a technical foul. I think Tari Eason got it, and like he was just celebrating and they just called a technical foul. It was like a 1-point game at that point.
I saw that was weird. I saw that too. It's
yeah,
like
so
these refs are just. I hate these refs. I hate them. I don't like using that word. I know I throw it around in sports sometimes, but dude, the NBA officials drive me batshit crazy because, and I don't know if a lot of what they do is intentional, but it's incompetent no matter how you spin it. Like you're missing calls left and right. You know, it's there's a lack of fairness, of balance. Like Stephen Curry, the fact that he rarely, if ever, gets the superstar whistle, he got hacked. There were multiple plays tonight where he got hacked. I remember there was one specific play where he got triple teamed, and John Morant was fouling him. Reached in, and John Morant knocked the ball out of Stephen Curry's hands. It was clearly out of bounds on the Warriors. It was out of bounds on Steph, but the officials ruled it Warriors ball. Why? I don't know. But I don't know if you remember this play specifically because Stephen Curry, when the Grizzlies started bitching and whining about it, they were like, hey, that went off Steph. I don't know if you saw this. Steph was like, I dare you to challenge it because he knew that if they challenged it, they would see the foul immediately. It's just there's too many missed calls, man. There's too much incompetency. Like I don't know why they do this as much as they do, but it drives me crazy. I mean,
one conspiracy is like the whole thing, like he's not with Nike, so that's why they don't give him calls. I'm starting to believe that, honestly.
Yeah, I do. Look, it's. I've been saying that for years as well.
Yeah.
You know, like the old journalism adage is follow the money, right? That's usually that's usually where you end up finding the answers for things. And when it comes to this situation, I think there is a element of truth to it. I will also say this: I think it's very fascinating that Nike is struggling right now as a company. And there's no secret that Nike and the NBA are tied together in terms of their financial structures. So to see Nike collapsing, I'm very curious to see how this affects the NBA because Nike is their bloodline. I'm curious. And will that benefit Steph in the process? I don't know. We shall see. But it is fascinating, and I'm with you. Sachin, any final thoughts before we get to Julian?
No, not at all. I mean, great win. Hopefully they keep on winning. Next 3 games is super important. So, yeah, hopefully they have a good playoffs.
Sachin, have a good night. I hope to see you again soon, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Let's go to Julian on the floor on the show.
Hey, Simon.
Coming to us straight from India, right? You're Indian, aren't you, Julian? I'm kidding. That was from the last show. Good to see you, brother. I know you're not Indian. I
missed you.
I don't care what your ethnicity is, but good to see you.
No, I missed you. You've been doing some solo shows. Also some collaborators, so we haven't been able to jump on and talk to you. So
try to mix it up. I try, man. Good to see you though, brother. Good to see you.
Well, great performance by Steph. I guess I'm going to be a little bit of a devil's advocate and a downer, and the chat's going to hate me for this. But we need these wins. Great win. We love to see 52 points from a 37-year-old Steph Curry that looks like he's still 27 years old.
Amazing.
And I hope he
Amazing.
plays until he's like 42. But this kind of exertion and effort, I am concerned when it comes to what we're going to get out of the playoffs and what it's going to take to win. There's a lot of Kuminga hate as usual, but looking at the standings, it's not beneficial for us to, unless we're going to get a 3 seed and somehow the Grizzlies end up the 6 seed, because I've ran all the scenarios, whether we're 4 or 5 or 6, it's looking like we're going to face the Nuggets or Lakers in the first round. Whether
way too early to tell yet.
Well, there's 7 games left.
Yeah.
So we need a collapse from the Rockets. The Rockets have a tough schedule ahead of them, so they can actually lose like 5 out of 7 or 6 out of 7, whatever I said. But if you run the scenarios, we only have a shot at 5, 4, maybe 3, and whoever that 6 seed has to be like the Grizzlies. And so there's a lot of scenarios where we're going to be facing the Lakers or Nuggets. And unfortunately, right now, I think we can beat any team. But to start off the first round with Lakers and Nuggets, I think it's going to take too much. And I believe in order for us to beat the Lakers or Nuggets, we need a Jonathan Kuminga that's at his peak, because you have the Lakers that have 3 guys that can go over 30 points. And I watched the Laker game yesterday. LeBron, he's just like Steph Curry right now. He's energized with the presence of Luka. So he's playing defense. He's playing center. He's running all over the place. So you have to deal with the energized LeBron. And so looking at the box score, great game by Jimmy Butler, but I need more than 11 shots for him. 12 from 12 from the line is great, but we need that playoff 35 to 40 Jimmy to start coming up. And we don't have another 20-point per game scorer out there. So we're not going to get 52 from Steph every time. So we need that 15 to 20 points from Jonathan Kuminga to have a chance against the Nuggets that have Jamal Murray, Jokic. You see what Aaron Gordon goes from 14 points per game to 38 points against the Warriors because of the size issue. So granted, that happened because Jokic was out that last game. You're not going to – I doubt we'll see another output like that from Aaron Gordon. But I follow and I hear what you're saying. And in terms of the Lakers, I'm very curious to see this Thursday matchup, because the Warriors have not played the Lakers since the blockbuster trade. Jimmy Butler on the Warriors presents a whole fascinating variable. And the Lakers, again, they got smaller. Like any team that's coming to the Warriors thinking that small ball is going to beat the Warriors, I laugh at that point. The Warriors created this whole thing. They mastered this whole thing. You're not going to bring their script to the game and pretend you're going to win. And the Lakers are now an iteration of small ball. So I'm very curious to see what happens Thursday. I'm not as worried about the Lakers as the Nuggets. The Nuggets are another beast. Side note, the Warriors trailed Denver for the 3 seed by 3 games, and they don't have the tiebreak. So it's really a 4-game deficit with 7 to play. I'm not even looking at the 3 seed, man. It's 4 is still in play if they beat the Lakers Thursday, because if they beat the Lakers Thursday, now you trail LA by just 1. You still don't have the tiebreaker. So you're really trailing them by 2. So the 4 seed is even like a reach, possible, but it's a reach. 5 is probably this is probably the highest they're going to get. And if that's the case, it's fine. I'll take it. If the Nuggets move up to 2 and the Rockets fall down.
But the Rockets have such a big lead, though, over the Warriors. Houston right now has a 4.5 game lead on the Warriors with 7 to play.
Well, I'll just say look at their schedule. So it is hopeful thinking. It's hopeful thinking, but they have a really tough schedule. I mean, they're facing almost the best of the best teams, so they can have a 5-game losing streak. I checked their schedule, but if we end up 5, then who are we facing? Cy, we facing Lakers or Nuggets?
Well, right now I think the Nuggets are 3, correct? So if the so the Nuggets are 3rd currently. So if the season ended today, the Warriors would play the Lakers. Yeah. Sign me up for that. That isn't. I mean, look, it's going to be challenging, but I think that's a winnable series. You don't? Do the Lakers scare you?
Like I said, I think the hate in the chat needs to stop, and we need to understand that we need another 20-point per game score to match the Lakers' firepower. And so we need Jonathan Kuminga to
I
get
agree.
to
I
get
agree.
up
I
to
think it is.
speed.
Look, I see a few people in the chat writing about Kuminga saying that the Warriors don't need him. I think that's foolish. This
Listen,
game tonight was way
we
too
love
close to comfort. And look, this Memphis team is not as good as some of the other teams in the West, and the Warriors barely pulled this off. You're absolutely right, man.
we
need
love
offense.
Gui. We love Gui. Yeah.
What's that?
No, it says we love Gui, but he's still 1 for 5 and 4 points. That's role player. That's solid extra possession type of thing. But to win a game against the firepower that the Lakers dish out there, because it's just not Austin Reeves, Luka, and LeBron. They got some snipers out there as well. Like Rui Hachimura is 6'10", can shoot that three. Jackson Hayes is, almost 7 feet, a lob threat. We don't have that because we're not playing Trace Jackson Davis. And I think TJD, even though he's athletic, he's a small 6'10". He has raptor. He has a T-Rex arms. His arms.
Who is that? Who are you talking about?
Trace Jackson Davis. His wingspan is not that.
Is that true? I don't know that.
He has a T-Rex arms.
Yeah, TJD with another DNP tonight, unfortunately for him. But
So
look,
here's
here's the thing. And Julian, as we wrap it up here, I'll leave it at this and tell me if you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
What Kuminga brings to the table and why you need him, besides the size, besides the athleticism, besides the fact that he can handle the ball and help out in that category, besides the fact he's a phenomenal passer, he's grossly underrated in that category. The most important facet that he brings to the table, there's two things. One is the defense, because we have no idea when GP2 is coming back. A torn ligament in your shooting hand. If he doesn't come back this season, don't be surprised. He could come back. What I'm saying is that's a serious injury. You're actually tore the damn thing in your shooting hand, and so that's a concerning. And JK can step up and play defense in that same role. Maybe more importantly, though, because I saw someone in the chat, for example, where is it? If I can find it real fast, just because this substantiates the point I'm about to make. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't, oh well. I can't. Oh well. Someone in the chat wrote that when you play the Lakers, you're also playing the refs, right? Yeah. Because the officials, I've already blasted them tonight, and they have a clear, very obvious bias toward LeBron James, and Luka Doncic is another free throw merchant. So you got to combat that. Yeah. You have, and the Warriors have one piece to combat that with, named Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. If you have Jonathan Kuminga, that makes two. Yeah. And every one of those free throw attempts, every one of those trips to the free throw line, it stops the action. It helps your defense tremendously. Do not think for a second that Memphis putting up 125 on the Warriors tonight, that more free throws would not have helped that situation. When opposing teams are draining threes on the Warriors, so many of those are coming in transition. Free throws end that. Teams don't go in transition when you're going to the line. So that part of it alone is where you need him, because he's also getting free points in the process. Yeah. In case you haven't noticed, his free throw shooting has improved, thankfully, where it doesn't look like it's a liability like it was at the start of the season. But
free throw shooting and his passing, yeah.
And I don't buy the argument that you don't need him. You're damn certain going to need him. Don't forget what he did against the Rockets this season. He almost single-handedly won that game for the Warriors, and he thrives against teams like the Thunder, like the Rockets. He normally plays well against the Grizzlies. Was the Memphis series the one where he was starting games in 2022 in the postseason when he was a rookie? I think it was Memphis. They're going to need him.
You remember that dunk early on in the season that he had against the Lakers where he bodied one guy, then he went up and dunked it on two, and then he started doing a LeBron James shrug. So he has some swagger out there. Yeah. And in the playoffs, what's important, and I know people don't like when he does this, but Kuminga is a tough shot maker. He can take the hit, fade away in that mid-range, and make the shot. And in the playoffs, there's a lot that they're not going to be calling. There's going to be a lot of contested shots. So you need someone that is faster than everyone on the court, that when you pass it up, he's able to blow by people, because there's a lot of easy layups that he gets, but also those tough 2-point shots. He's the only person on this team that can be within that, and Jimmy Butler too, within that foul line to dotted circle fadeaway that can hit the tough 2-shot when everything all else fails. So we need Kuminga. That's it. Like we need Kuminga to be at least 15 points off the bench in order to have a chance against the Lakers. Because I don't see Steph Curry giving us 50 every night and then having a bunch of role players only average 10 points per game in order to beat the Lakers. We need our top-notch effort, and that's why I'm scared of the Lakers. Not scared, but I feel that even if we did beat them, we're going to be so drained by the second round.
Maybe. I think it's pretty insane. Well, I'm not worried as much about that because when you get to the postseason, you have like almost a week off usually. Although I guess if your team gets to like a 7th game, the vacation is taken away. But if usually you get some days off in the postseason between series, between games. Like sometimes the schedule is set up where you have like 3 days off between games and another 2 days off. Like I'm not worried too much about the postseason rigor from a scheduling perspective. I'm much more worried about this Thursday and Friday where you got the Lakers Thursday and then you got to play the Nuggets the very next night at home.
You brought this up. It's insane the schedule that the NBA gave the Warriors. We have back-to-back. We have 2 back-to-backs coming up in the next week and a half.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
Lakers, Nuggets, then I think Rockets and Spurs.
Yeah.
So I would say, I know it's unrealistic, but I think they need to win out in order to get a decent seed to give themselves the best shot. So we'll see what happens. Lastly, I'll say, the popular song "Walking in Memphis." Well, Memphis can walk their ass to the fucking 6th seed. We got that 5th seed, baby. There you go.
I don't know. Julian, there's no better way to finish. You killed it. Thank you so much. Aim Assist was going to join, but he bounced. A couple paid chats here. Peter Gregory dropping $1.99, saying that the only thing the show could use more of are good video clips, highlight clips. YouTube will not allow that. I can't monetize the show if I include highlights. I would love to, but every single time I've actually done it, I get an immediate warning from YouTube saying you can't monetize the show and I have to edit out the clip. It's a pain in the ass. I really wish I could. And I always wonder that these other shows that do include clips, it's like, bravo, great show. You're not making a penny for it. Like, I don't, So I agree. But I wish I could. And who knows? Maybe the network we're on, Believe, or maybe some other network someday picks us up and they have the rights to NBA games, and then we can't show them. But as of right now, unfortunately, we can't. JJ Lee dropping $1.99 in the chat saying, with the way that the fans are feeling about Kuminga, JJ Lee's evoking Monte Ellis and drawing a comp there, saying a lot of fans did not have faith in Stephen Curry early in his tenure with the Warriors. And when Monte Ellis was traded, that was at least part of the reason why Joe Lacob got booed by the entire Oracle Arena crowd during Chris Mullin's retirement ceremony. That, by the way, that is on YouTube. Man, I'll play that on this show one of these days again soon. I've done it before. But a lot of fans were not happy when Monte Ellis was traded. And then in hindsight, obviously, look, a dynasty started soon after. And so JJ Lee is saying, just pump the brakes on the Kuminga hate, because you might regret it at some point, and he might end up being a special. That's a bold take if you're saying he's going to be as special as Steph, but I also hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think Kuminga to me has the potential to be very special. Not there yet, obviously. He needs to play to get there, and we're in year 4, and now there's 4 years where, excuses are abound from the coaching staff that to prevent him from getting consistent minutes. But I think if he gets the opportunity, he can be special. I don't know that for certain. The only thing I advocate for is for him to actually play. That's the one thing I advocate for. Give him minutes, but he also has to be healthy. And that's where you will get a critique from me if you're not showing that you could be a durable player. Stephen Curry was not durable early in his career. He figured it out. JK, you got to do the same thing, brother. But JJ Lee, great post there. And R. Jonesy, $1.99, saying the Lakers have 3 of the top 10 floppers in the NBA. Who's the third one? So LeBron, Luka, is it Austin Reeves? I haven't heard a reputation of his correlating with flopping, but it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. R. Jonesy, follow that up, please, and you don't have to drop another $1.99. I'll look at the chat closely. Angie Sings is saying it's Reeves. Reeves is the third flopper. Peanut in the chat saying that the Warriors and the Rockets could be the first round matchup. Let's get to that. All right. Let's get to the scoreboard. Let's get to the standings, because that was the result of tonight's game that the Warriors won. A huge game. This was a war, man. Memphis showed up to play tonight. So did Golden State. More specifically, so did Wardell, Stephen Curry. And this, by the way, is another reason why I kind of scoff at the folks who think the Warriors are better off without Kuminga. The Warriors tonight needed Stephen Curry to score 52 points to barely win this game. Okay, don't pretend that this was a blowout. Don't pretend they comfortably won. This was a lead. The lead was exchanging hands late fourth quarter before a couple of big plays at the very end sealed it. They needed 52 points. They needed like a career, if SportsCenter is still relevant, a SportsCenter leading type of night from Stephen Curry to pull this off. Don't pretend not having Kuminga made things better for him. Hell no. Let's get to the scoreboard. Let's see what's going on with the scores around the association, and then we'll get to the standings, and then we'll all get a good night's sleep, I hope, reveling in the victorious Golden State Warriors pulling it off, and they're now the 5 seed in the West. That's incredible. That is remarkable. Beautiful job by the Golden State Warriors. Let's get some tunes going here as well, because we can't have scores without tunes. Let's jump into the club, and let's read some scores and standings. All right. There's one game still going on we're not going to get to the finish of, and it's a big one. The Timberwolves and the Nuggets are playing right now. I believe that game is on TNT. Other games in the association, though, when it comes to final scores on this Tuesday night. It sucks that it's only Tuesday. Damon Bruce and I will be doing a show tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. But for tonight, the Chicago Bulls, 137-118 winners over the Toronto Raptors. Nikola Vucevic, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Emmanuel Quickly, 17 points, 9 rebounds for Toronto. The Bulls improved to 34-42. The Raptors dropped to 28-48. The Orlando Magic, they couldn't beat the Clippers 2 nights ago when the Warriors needed them to, but of course they beat the hapless Spurs 116-105 in San Antonio, who improves to 31-44. The Magic drops to 37-40. Harrison Barnes, former Golden State Warrior, I miss him way more than Andrew Wiggins, but that's just me. I loved Harrison. He was part of the start of this dynasty. He had 24 points tonight. Franz Wagner, 24 points, 7 assists in the win for the Orlando Magic. The Milwaukee Bucks, 133-123 winners tonight over the Phoenix Suns. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37 points, 11 assists, 3 steals. Devin Booker in the loss, 39 points, 11 assists. Phoenix drops to 35-41. And when we get to the standings, something tells me they're going to be trailing the Mavericks, a team that's missing practically everybody. I know they just got Anthony Davis back, but Phoenix, what is your excuse? And for every one of you out there who desperately wanted Kevin Durant on this team, look at what Phoenix is doing with Durant as their lead dog or second dog, whatever it is. I don't know. Is he the number one guy? Is it Devin Booker? I have no idea. It sure as shit ain't Bradley Beal. My point is, Kevin Durant, phenomenal talent. Kevin Durant, memorable 3 years with the Warriors. Kevin Durant can't lead a team to victory. Plain and simple. That's why I was never on board with giving up Kuminga for him. So what? So you could be the Warriors were not this if they got Durant instead of Jimmy Butler. So, and again, if Kevin Durant is so special, why does Phoenix suck? Answer that one for me, please, because I don't get it. The New York Knicks, 105-90 winners tonight. Mitchell Robinson, 14 points, 14 rebounds in the win for New York, who improves to 48-27. The Sixers drop to 23-53. Quentin Grimes, 26 points, 3 steals in the loss for Philly. And one last final score, the Portland Trailblazers, a team that next year could be good. Be ready for them to emerge next season. Thanks in part to players like Denny Avdia, who is lighting it up now This guy, take a look at his stats last month if you don't believe me. He is turning into something special. 32 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, a triple-double in the win for Avdia. Trae Young, 29 points, 15 assists, 3 steals in the loss for the Hawks, who dropped to 36-39. The Portland Trailblazers, a respectable 33-43. And the one game that will not finish by the time we finish tonight, the Minnesota Timberwolves are in Denver right now, taking on the Nuggets, and they lead 74-73. It is fascinating that the Timberwolves still have Denver's number, even without Karl Anthony Towns. And that's just wild to me. But yet that is the case. And Minnesota leads right now in that category, which leads to the standings and a breakdown of what's to come, because there are now 7 games remaining. Oh, Third Eye Spy, by the way, mentioning that he heard Ryan Rollins led the Bucks in steals tonight. I think he did more than that. Ryan Rollins, former Golden State Warriors second-round draft pick, a player that the team spent cash to move up for, and a player who I believe was he arrested, or there's something going on there with him shoplifting. Anyways, he was having issues. Those issues are in the past. Ryan Rollins is playing and he's contributing for the Milwaukee Bucks. And in tonight's game, Ryan Rollins played 31 minutes, scored 23 points, added 5 rebounds and 5 assists, was 5 of 7 shooting from beyond the arc. Did have 2 steals, which did not even lead the Bucks, by the way. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 3. Ryan Rollins did lead the Bucks in net rating tonight. He was a plus 29 in a game that the Bucks won by just 10. So that's a draft pick that's, in hindsight's a win, I guess, for Bob Myers, what he's doing there. Oh, my goodness. Billy DeBono, bringing up something I should have brought up an hour ago. Thank you, dropping $2, but I would have taken it for free, because what you bring up is definitely mentionable. Forgive me for waiting an hour and change to mention this. The Golden State Warriors tonight, from the free throw line, were a perfect 28 of 28. That's wild, man. They did not miss a free throw tonight. And Billy DeBono writes 26 of 26. That's what I originally heard, but my NBA box score is showing 28. So I'm guessing there was an adjustment there somewhere. Jimmy Butler, 12 of 12. Draymond Green, 4 of 4. Stephen Curry, 8 of 8. Buddy Hield, 2 of 2. And Guy Santos, 2 of 2. Bravo. That's how incredible of a night this was. That's how big of a night Stephen Curry had. That the Warriors going a perfect 28 of 28 from the free throw line was that far down in the news item list, man. That is incredible. It was awesome. And June Adolfo saying that Ryan Rollins leads the Buck in. This is, you know what? I have a new sound clip for that, by the way. The word steals for the podcast audience is what is highlighted. And this is what I'm going to play from now on when you drop a funny on it.
Oh my God, that is funny!
I don't know. Have Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell ever collaborated? I was just thinking about that the other day. Young West 79 saying, Young West 79. My thing's not working now. I can't. Nothing is working. Hope you can still hear me. Usually, if this has happened once before, where my system just completely freezes. Oh, there we go. It's working again. I was gonna say you might see me vanish for a few moments there. All right, we're back. Yeah, MJ, Billy Madison is just the stuff of legends. Yeah, so I'm not gonna abuse this one, but
oh my God, that is funny.
It's our new job. All right, and Any other paid chats? Okay, Billy DeBono, bravo. That was a point that I should have brought up sooner. Good stuff. So we go to the standings now. Let me share my screen so we can all enjoy this together. Baby Cakes. Hold on a second here. Baby Cakes saying Adam Silver is, I don't know what WOK means. Please forgive me for that. But Baby Cakes saying Adam Silver is it woke? Is that what you're trying to say? Or is it walk? Saying a woke or walk racist. Damien LaRoche. There was no Chardal tonight. No, he decided not to join the show. So, and again, I fully understand he rubs some of you the wrong way, but he's entertaining. He makes things interesting. I don't see the harm in bringing him on later in shows. But he did not make an appearance tonight. I saw him in the chat, but I love you too, Damien. Love you too. I love all of y'all. Even you haters out there. As long as you don't make it personal, you're just adding to the fun. So it's all good. Bruce Monroe saying he is disgusting. Sorry. Yeah, he's unique. He's unique. All right, let's see what the standings are on this Tuesday night. Where are we here? The Golden State Warriors. There we go. The 5 seed with a 44-31 record. I want to start down here though, because I was talking about the Phoenix Suns, who are a game and a half behind the Sacramento Kings for the 10th spot place in the Western Conference. If you don't make 10, you're not even a play-in team. It's embarrassing. That is just embarrassing, Phoenix. Like, what have you done? New owner syndrome. Matt Ishbia. You perpetuated a stereotype. Well, so there we go. So the Sacramento Kings are currently your 10 seed. They have a game and a half lead over the Phoenix Suns. If you're a member of Dub Nation, you probably don't care about that. The number 9 seed currently, and this is embarrassing for the Sacramento Kings, who, side note, Domantas Sabonis reportedly wants out. You can't make that up, man. Vivek, for a few years, held back, and he just couldn't get out of his own way. You just could not, man. If you're a Kings fan, I pity you for the owner that your team has, because that dude honestly thinks he's a basketball genius. Not making that up. Yeah, Bruce Morrow saying that the Suns trading for KD was a huge mistake. I'd say the Bradley Beal trade was a bigger mistake, but that was a bad one too. Yeah, and Bruce Morrow firing Mike Brown was a mistake. Huge mistake. Coffee Noir saying, I'll take Sabonis today. Sabonis and the Warriors would be intriguing. Sacramento's not going to give them up for nothing, though. But yeah, Urias Del Fringer adding Sabonis as the Warriors center would be great. So the standings, going back to that, because that's important. So the Clippers are your 8th seed currently. They're 43-32. They are the team that worries me tremendously because they own the tiebreak over the Warriors outright. They play each other one more time, and that's the final game of the regular season. Something weirdly tells me that game's going to have profound significance. But we're 7 games away from that. So the LA Clippers are currently your 8th seed, and the separation between 8 and 9 is huge. So the 9, 10, 11 seeds, those 3 are going to fight for for borderline irrelevancy. You might make the play-in, you're going to win a game. One team will have to win a game, and then you're going to get your ass kicked in that second game, and then that'll be your season. So anyway, so Memphis, Sac, and Phoenix are down there. Who cares? The 8th seed are the LA Clippers at 43-32. The 7th seed are your Minnesota Timberwolves, also 43-32. The Memphis Grizzlies are now a 6th seed at 44-32. There is a very strong possibility, as I now see Stephen Curry addressing the media, and if any of those clips comes down before the show ends, I will sure as shit play because I want to hear from them. Otherwise, we'll try to play some sound tomorrow morning with Damon Bruce. Side note, when I do those shows with Damon, he's in control. So please forgive me for never being able to play or highlight your chats or bringing people on. He takes the lead on those shows. So anyways, so the Memphis Grizzlies, who are currently 6th with a 44-32 record, they are in serious danger of being the team that ends up being in 8th place. They're free falling, not the Tom Petty song. The Golden State Warriors are 44-31. And the loss column is what everyone should be paying attention to the most. Because as long as you have less losses than the other team, you're going to finish ahead of them. And right now, Warriors are 44-31. Memphis, 44-32, a half game behind the Warriors. Minnesota, 43-32. One full game behind the Warriors. The Warriors own the tiebreak outright over Minnesota. LA Clippers, 43-32. Full game behind the Warriors. The Clippers own the tiebreak outright over the Warriors. If it ends up being a 3-way tie between the Warriors, the Grizzlies, and the Timberwolves, the Warriors would win that tiebreak. The LA Lakers are currently the 4 seed at 46-29, 2 full games ahead of the Warriors. They play each other Thursday. Oh, it's getting exciting, folks, isn't it? Your 3rd seed are the Denver Nuggets at 47-28. They have a full 3-game lead over the Warriors. They already own the tiebreak outright over Golden State. Same with the Lakers. So you can't finish tied with them and expect to get ahead. And then the Houston Rockets are 2nd at 49-27. The OKC Thunder are looking down to the rest going, we'll see you soon. So that's your standings. Let me see if there's any questions pertaining to that. It is amazing. Damien LaRoche, Golden Days are writing that it's amazing. The Warriors were the 10 seed. Were they even worse than that? Maybe they had moved up to 10, but there was a point in time where before they traded for Jimmy Butler, they were actually 11. Massive fall from the beginning of the season when they were literally 1 with that 12-3 start. So Damien LaRoche adding that it is incredible that the Warriors were the 10 seed. Bruce Morrow with an optimistic comment here saying that he sees 4 more losses for the LA Lakers, which then begs the question, who are the Lakers going to play for the remainder of the season? So the Lakers, for the home stretch, they play the Warriors at home Thursday. Very next day, they play the Pelicans at home. Then they have 2 road games against OKC. And this is where you root for the Cavaliers. And if you're begging the question, why? It's because if the Cavaliers don't at least keep it close with the Thunder, then OKC has nothing to play for other than just to stay fresh, right? But as long as the Cavaliers stay close, OKC still has some incentive to win games so that they can secure home court advantage through the entire postseason. But regardless, the Lakers play OKC back-to-back in OKC Sunday and Tuesday. Then they play the Mavericks the very next night. This is on Wednesday, April 9th. And then they come home and play the Rockets. And then they finish the season at Portland. So, Bruce, the 4 losses you're referring to, I can see 2 of them against at OKC. Warriors makes maybe 3. Let's hope that does. I mean, that's a big game. So let's say for the sake of argument, the Warriors makes 3. Who's the 4th? Because they literally just beat Houston and they showed that they could handle it pretty well. So I'm very curious why you think they're going to lose 4. F2P in the chat saying that reports indicate that the Thunder are gunning for 70 wins. Let's hope so. Because OKC has a few games remaining against teams that the Warriors want to lose. So I hope that's true. Oh, and Bruce Morrow thinks the Lakers will lose to the Mavs. Is that because of Anthony Davis? Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. There will be some incentive there. And Max Christie maybe might get motivated too. too much bringing up that it's crazy to think we were the 10 seed just a few weeks ago. Again, 11. They were actually 11. Not again 90. I feel you. Writing that they love that the Warriors were able to put a wet stinky sock that was rubbed around in dog doo-doo, wet dog doo-doo, like the diarrhea stuff. And then they shoved it in John Morant's mouth. I agree. John Morant, like, I respect cockiness if you're accomplished. Like, I respect trash talking if you've earned it. John Morant's been running his mouth from the moment he was a rookie in this league. Don't respect that at all. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like Draymond Green, just to give you some perspective. Was he brash as a rookie and a young player? Yes. Was he talking this level of trash before the Warriors won championships? No. Not at this level. So, yeah, I'm with you on that big time. Yeah. And then F2P adding the Warriors were actually behind the Kings. You're absolutely right. That's crazy, man. What a season this has been. And right now, the Warriors are the 5 seed. Good shit, man. Good effing shit. Young West saying, don't underestimate OKC. No, I'm not. But I do still think the Warriors can beat them. They don't scare me, but I have a lot of respect for them. Otherwise, I think that's it. Yeah, Angie sings roller coaster season. That's accurate. Let's see if any Steph sound has come down before we go. Steph and Curry, man, it doesn't get old. It just never gets old. 52 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals. It's not like he was just doing it offensively. He was aggressive on both sides of that court tonight. Ooh, let's hear from Draymond Green. And I always love hearing from Draymond. Dude's basketball IQ is insanely high. And for you Kuminga doubters, never forget the faith that Draymond Green has in this kid. Here's Draymond Green. Let's turn on the music so we can actually hear this. Let's stop sharing my screen. I apologize for that. So here's Draymond real fast talking about tonight's game. He also brings up his fellow Michigan State alum, Jaren Jackson Jr., who got fouled out of this game late, and that was wildly beneficial for the Warriors. Here is Draymond Green. Turn the volume up on your devices. This is courtesy of Anthony Slater.
Jimmy baits Jared Jackson into a 6th on one play. The next play steals it from Ja. I mean, how important is what he's doing in those kind of key moments?
It's huge for Jimmy to do that. I'm disappointed in Jared because I got a lot of love for him. That's my spark dog. He's too good to still be getting in foul trouble. A couple of them fouls he picked up, he can stay away from those. And it's time for him to take that next step in that department because it was huge for us for him to get out of the game. But I'm happy he did. But I am a Jaren fan. I'm always rooting for him. And to see him still getting some of those fouls that he's picking up, he can't do that. His team needs him out there, and so it's a huge play by Jimmy, huge couple plays by Jimmy, which was great. But Jaren got to figure that out. He's gotten too much better offensively and too hard to stop to be taking himself out of the game on the defensive side of the ball. That was a little disappointing from the big brother in me for him. That was a little disappointing, but I was happy he was out of there.
Well, yeah. How do you balance? I mean, are you actually thinking about that during the game?
Of course, you he got 5 fouls. You see him pick up that second one. You're like, all right, so you're definitely aware of the situation for sure. What you mean, am I balancing?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there fist pumping. Yes, he's out of the game, but also.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm happy as hell. Every foul he picked up, I was happy during the game. But like I said, there's a part of me thinking you can't do that. When he picked up the 5th one, I literally walked to Bane on the bench and said, Bane, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. And so. Yeah, he can't. Jaren can't do that, man. Jaren's too good of a player to still be doing that. So like I said, I was happy as the fouls were happening during the game, but now that it's over, he can't continue to do that. He's too good of a player to be taking himself out of games like that. How important?
Oh, well, there you go. So that entire attribution was about Jaren Jackson Jr., a fellow Michigan State alum for Draymond Green. Apparently that there is some respect there because of the schools they went to. The soundbite, I wish either Slater or somebody, there's what, I think 3 people in terms of media members traveling with the Warriors. It's Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle, Danny Emmerman, who's now with the San Francisco Standard. If you've never heard of that publication, they're a relatively new news organization in San Francisco, entirely digital. And so Danny Emmerman is now with them, still covering the team, just with the new organization. So it's just 3 people. It's Danny, it's Sam Gordon, and it's Anthony Slater. And the Draymond clip that I can't find right now, I'm going to try to find it tomorrow morning, more specifically, 11 a.m. Pacific time, with Damon Bruce. And why does it sound awkward? Oh, because there's no music. Okay. There's a soundbite that I can't find. And the reason why I really want to play it is because someone asked Draymond Green about his bold proclamation a few weeks ago. And if you're asking what proclamation, listen to the show open.
We always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
We are going to win the championship.
That proclamation right there. We are going to win the championship. Draymond Green was asked tonight about that proclamation and whether or not he still stands on that prediction. Draymond Green replied, quote, "I always stand on what I say, brother. I don't backtrack." Again, Draymond doesn't make bold proclamations like this out of the blue. He talks shit, but he thinks about what he says. So if you're going to be confident about the Warriors winning a championship this year, start there. Start with the fact that they're the heart and soul of this team. The vocal leader of the Warriors is confident that his team's going to win the title this year. And excuse me for having some faith in him, but I do. Oh, the postseason should be fun. Well, Damon Bruce and I will have a show together tomorrow, and then Thursday night, Warriors-Lakers. 7 games to go in the regular season. What a ride it's been. It's been a roller coaster. And tonight, that roller coaster is at the very top because the Warriors pulled it off. 134-125, the final in Memphis. The Warriors win the season series. So if there's a tie at the end of the season between these two teams, the Warriors win the tiebreak. They are now 5th in the Western Conference with 7 to play. Incredible. See you tomorrow morning, I hope. And if not, maybe Thursday night. But regardless, thank you as always for the support, and thanks for joining us. This doesn't exist without you. And I'm not just saying that. I legitimately mean it. I am doing a whole other career if you folks aren't coming to this party every night, or at least every post game and every other show. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and we'll be back at this soon. No more paid chats. Nothing else. We all good? Yeah, that's it. We're done. See you tomorrow morning. Have a great night. Sleep well. Something tells me if you call yourself a member of Dub Nation, you will. Great win, everybody. Bye-bye.